Good morning, good evening, good night, and goodbye, part 2, our beloveds. So this is where we move away from our former messages and move into a new path and a new pattern. Many of you have begun to see how the murderous past of your particular country or construct is beginning to be unearthed, to be exposed, to be shown. And there is more that will be coming in the coming months. What has been hidden, what has been excluded from public discourse because the topic was uncomfortable, dark, or somehow exposed sins of your fathers. Well, those sins are being prepared for their debut on stage now. You will see how you have 2 months left to get through the eye of the needle, and there is much work still to do, much which must still be completed, and then much which must be discussed or chewed through. Your past behaviors were murderous. It's that simple. And the vibration of murder is the vibration of destruction, of control, of manipulation. If you don't do or behave as I say, you shall die. Spanking is simply the precursor to this energetic imprint. So when the Bible tells you that you shall not spare the rod, or you shall spoil the child, well, what is that really teaching you? To beat your child into submission instead of loving your child unconditionally and helping them to grow up, feeling that they can trust in the world around them. Your Bible has harmed you. Your belief systems of abuse being acceptable to get others to conform to your liking has harmed you. And these times, these days, these moments, these belief systems are coming to an end. Because if you give yourself permission to beat a young child who is innocent and still trusting in his belief system, well, what do you think is acceptable for those who you own, whom you control, whom you are permitted to kill? Your property, right? In many cultures, your children are your property. Your wives are your property. Your slaves, or let's put them in quotes, employees, are your property. And do not kid yourself. Slavery exists today in exactly the same format it did in earlier years. And some is being called something different, but it's not. It is indentured servitude. Your public loans are indentured servitude because you cannot get away from them even in bankruptcy. Your manipulation over your children and what they do and how they do it is indentured servitude because they know if they don't do as you demand, you will throw them out on the streets. And these days, so many of you parents live vicariously through your children by overworking and overdoing their lives when children should simply be permitted to play in the backyard, staring at the clouds going by, watching the bugs walk by on the ground, playing in mud, pulling the petals off of flowers, and just learning to explore the nothingness of being or existing. But you all who were not given this opportunity to participate in every single activity available under the sun, And so you're going to make your children do this instead of just simply asking your children what they wish to do. Some do, and many, many and most don't. But you refuse to listen to them because it is all about you and your desires to live through them vicariously. But this, too, shall be coming to an end with a boom and a bang. You will see what we mean with time. But now is the time for shift, for change, for self-reflection, and acceptance and acknowledging the harms of the past. And as you move into this new space of honoring you, honoring your journey, honoring those who are in your lives right now to help you with this journey, whether you would define them as good players or bad players, they each play their role. And those who have left you have left because vibrationally you're no longer a match. And those who are in the pipeline to come into your life are coming in because they are a vibrational match. And you will begin to see as you shift into this new vibration of unconditional love. And this is not for everyone, so we're certain that you're aware that a certain percentage will join in and a certain percentage won't, as that is the nature of man. You've got your early adopters, and then you have your laggards. The early adopters are those who are willing to trust in the fleeting emotions of a belief system that propels them forward. You just have that momentary feeling of, I believe there's more to this. And you just open up to it. And by opening up to it without closing the door, without resisting it, you allow the vibration to come in more fully. It is like a boat that has a very slow leak, and it just fills the underside and causes the old structure upon which you have relied upon to sink. But if you pay attention to this, you will then take your life raft, climb aboard, and go sit out in the ocean waiting for the universe to protect you, to provide for you, and ultimately to save you, but not save you as you have been led to believe. The universe will save you in a manner based on your beliefs and your intentions. If you trust that you will be saved by somebody wonderful and helpful and trusting, we will bring you that vibration. If you request that we bring you somebody else, we will find the vibration of what it is that you are sending out. If it is a vibration based on fear and lack, we will bring you that, and it might be pirates who lock you down below in a dungeon to take you back to land and then to ransom you off to your family. But the majority of you are beginning to realize your new path, your new method of being and believing. And it's a very slow leak, as many of you are aware. It is much like any slow-growing device, which may take years and years to get to fruition, to maturity, to harvesting time. But you will, during this time, feel and notice the growth of what is coming. And we cannot share too much yet because it is not our imagination that is manifesting what is coming. It is yours. And so we wish to be the most generic that we can so that your own imagination or third eye or dreams dream up your future. But many of you have truly stepped away from the old paradigm, from the patriarchal construct of what it must look like. And you are beginning to realize how that really felt and how it didn't feel good and how you now desire something different, something softer, gentler, more loving, more protective, and experiencing that is your greatest desire, to be loved by somebody, to have your children love you, to have your parents love you, to have your family and friends love you. This is the greatest desire of all, to be loved by those individuals whom you have deemed to be important in your lives. And it is coming, though it may not look as you expect. Love comes in many funny and funky forms. So we just ask you to set aside your visual expectation of how love will present itself, and instead just simply open yourself to the what if, trusting that the divine, that the universe will bring you exactly what you are meant to experience. It is your individual vibration that brings you what is next in line for your evolutionary growth. It is going to be majestic. It is going to be magnanimous. It is going to be miraculous. It is going to be magnificent. It is going to be markedly different. And it is going to be me too. Many of you are going to wake up, believe it or not, to an experience of your own Me Too movement, Me Too experience, Me Too expression of what you finally realize that you have survived and are now leaving behind. It is time, it is time, it is time. And so it is. Namaste.